all so much for having me. It's so wonderful to be here. I was telling the front table that I am a morning person, and it's always wonderful to meet other morning people, or at least people who are willing to masquerade as morning people to get to an early meeting. As Barbara mentioned, I am with Embrace Treatment Foster Care. We are a private foster care agency, and my office sits in Winchester, but we serve Warren, Clark, Frederick, and Shenandoah counties. And our office is the newest of our 5 branches. We opened here in September 2016, and we opened up because we were getting referrals to our office in Fredericksburg for children from this area. So what that means is the Department of Social Services was removing children from the home and having to place them all the way down to Rappahannock County because of the shortage of homes here. And so that's why we've come up here and we're trying to find some homes so that kids can stay local, because that's really important for them. Before we go too much farther, I want to talk about what foster care is. Children come into the foster system when it is determined that their physical or emotional needs are not being met by their biological parents or legal guardians. At that point, they are removed from the home, and what is most desirable is for them to be placed with a foster family, because children benefit from a stable, loving family environment. The hope is always that they will be able to return to their biological parents or another family member, but about 40% of the time they cannot return, and then they become eligible for adoption. So a few moments ago, I mentioned that there is a shortage of foster parents in this area. That's actually a national problem, but it has particular characteristics here in the northern Shenandoah Valley. It will not surprise you to learn that opiate addiction has a negative impact on child welfare. There was a harrowing article earlier this year in the Wall Street Journal called "Children of the Opioid Crisis" that I would recommend to anyone who wants to learn more about what that looks like. But I will warn you, it's not a particularly uplifting story. So we have this ongoing shortage of homes statewide, and in this area we have an increased need for homes. As a company, we turn away 8 to 10 placements every day. That's 8 to 10 children we are not able to help because we don't have beds. And at that point, children often end up in another kind of residential institution. And I want to be clear, there are many fine residential treatment programs for children or youth who have behavioral or mental health issues. They do good work, and we work with those programs to transition children from an institutional setting to a foster home. But each setting serves its function, and they really are not interchangeable. My work with Embrace is doing community outreach and education like this. And I also meet with prospective foster parents to bring them into the process. And what motivates me to do this is thinking about the children that I can't place. Those children are without an advocate, someone looking out for their best interests, and they therefore are my children. And they are on my mind from the time I wake up until the time I go to bed. And they're not just my children, actually. They are our children as a community. And what affects me most thinking about them is that these are young people in adverse situations that they did not create. And I really feel strongly that we owe it to them to do our best effort to help them find safety and stability. So what are we looking for in a foster home? According to the Commonwealth of Virginia, foster parents must be over the age of 21, must pass a series of background checks, be financially stable, and have appropriate sleeping space for the child. Marital status and sexual orientation are not qualifying criteria in Virginia, and there is no minimum wealth threshold. Foster parents do not need to have biological children of their own or children in the home, and there is no requirement that a foster parent must stay at home or work from home. There is also no true age limit. Healthy older people are a primary population of foster parents. And foster parents can elect to provide long-term foster care, where the average stay is around 18 months, or short-term foster care, with a maximum stay of about 2 weeks. So what we are looking for is people who are willing to open their hearts and their homes to a child in need. It's interesting because we just heard this conversation about, how great it was having an exchange student in your home for a year. Right? And it is wonderful, for people who don't have children or no longer have children in the home. Children and young people are great. They are fun. They are interesting. They keep you on your toes. That is a wonderful blessing. It's true. And it's a wonderful blessing for all of our foster families. And so in exchange for making that sacrifice and welcoming someone into the home, my organization offers a lot of training and support. We have a 24/7 on-call number, something that most parents only experience if their parents, the grandparents, are in the area. And we also work very hard to ensure that foster parents are matched with children who are a good fit. And we encourage parents to be very candid about what age and gender of child would work best in their home. I mention that in case any of you are willing to sign up today, as long as I can guarantee no diapers or no teenagers. We can work that out, we can do it. But having said that, I know not all of you in this room want to become foster parents or are able to become foster parents. And please pay attention because we're going to have an interactive portion at the end of the talk about this, because every one of you has a part to play in solving the foster parent shortage by doing what I do, talking about foster care. I would hazard a guess that for most of you in this room, this is the most that you have thought about foster care in months, if not in years. And there is an urgent, ongoing need for foster parents, but it's just not at the top of mind for most people. So we know that people think about fostering 9 times before they contact a foster care agency. And they may then contact an agency several times before committing to the process. 9 times. To me, that means that we need to get people thinking about foster care regularly so that they will hit that threshold and pick up the phone a little bit faster. And that's where I need your help. I am one person with a large service area, but each of you has your own network and avenue of opportunities to talk about foster care. Maybe if you asked, but not if I asked, your employer would consider hanging up a flyer in a window or in an employee break room about foster care. Perhaps your child's PTA association or sports league would consider hosting a talk or putting something in a newsletter. Maybe you're involved with other community organizations or a church that would like to help me give this talk again or distribute other literature. Or very simply, how many people in this room are on Facebook? Show of hands. This seems so trivial, but every one of you can put a quarterly reminder on your calendar, share a story about foster care. When I talk to people and I ask them what made you decide to contact me or think about becoming a foster parent, a disproportionate amount of time, people say that they saw something on Facebook. So we know that that really works. We have our own Facebook page. You can just, every quarter go find a story that you like and share it and say, hi, I think this is important. Because you never know who in your family or among your friends has been privately thinking about it for a while, and they're just waiting for that last push to come over the threshold. When I talk to people and they say, oh, I was thinking about it a lot, and then I saw this flyer. For them, it's like fate intervened and showed them a flyer or showed them a Facebook post, but it's not fate. It's not fate. It's myself and my community partners and people like you putting that information in front of them for them to see when they need to see it. So with that, I thank you for your time. I got ahead of myself in my talk. Thank you. On your tables, you have a packet that I made that's got lots of good stuff in it. You can keep this for yourself. You are encouraged, by the way, if you know someone who would make a great foster parent, just tell them you would make a great foster parent, and I heard this talk, and here's this stuff in this lady's card. It has actually worked before, so it's not a crazy idea. We also have a newsletter. If you would like to be on the newsletter and find out more about our programs, we also sometimes have campaign drives to get kids school supplies or Christmas gifts and things like that. We have other events. You can fill out the top portion and kind of rip it in half or leave the whole thing for me. And so, yeah, with these flyers, you can give them to somebody else. You can say, you should be a foster parent, you should host this talk, you should put this in a newsletter. And having talked about all of these ways that we can participate and help people think about foster care 9 times to see if maybe they want to do it, does anyone in here want to volunteer what they think they can do to spread the message of foster care? Yes?
Well, I have something that my church is already doing. We're encouraging all of our church members, and we're collecting stuff to make bags, like care bags for students and people and little kids in the foster care system. And that's how we're getting our church to like consciously think about foster care. So like making care bags would be a really good way to do that.
Yeah, that is great. I'm actually picking up some bags that a local community group made today. So that is definitely necessary. And by the way, on that note, foster children need hotel toiletries, the little miniature toothpaste that you get from your dentist, stuff like that. If you want to collect those in a shoebox and give them to a foster care agency, we'll be pretty grateful for that. That was one good one. Can we get one from each table maybe? That would be great. Barbara gets a pass because she let me come here and talk to you.
But I will share your information with the other Rotary clubs in our area.
Excellent. Thank you.
The service committee chair this year, whoever is the new service committee chair, I'll put this in the folder that I pass on, so it could be a service project for next year.
Awesome. Great.
If you haven't talked to the Fort Worth Columbus Club, I happen to have a contact.
That would be fantastic. Yes, thank you.
I would be glad to put up a flyer in my business, and I also will post it onto our Facebook page as well.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
I'm mission chair at my church, and I'll see to it gets on our plan of service.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hey, we're just
Yeah, I gotta tell you, this table is crushing it. Y'all at the back, I'm gonna assume that you're thinking about it, and you're gonna cogitate on it and make your own decision later. You've got my business card. If I can help you, I will.
Yeah, your recording today will be put up on our website, which is the public website. We will share that recording with other clubs in the area.
That is excellent, because stuff like that is really helpful to us. We had a TV news spot in November that went a little bit viral, that was shared over 100 times, and people were contacting me about it. So it really, these things really do make a difference in terms of who picks up the phone and calls. Sir?
Not necessarily a discussion, but it's just to share. When I was younger, our family was an emergency foster care family, and so for much of my childhood, I guess, we had children in and out of our homes for overnight sometimes, and one time up to 3 weeks. It was a case where a foster mother died, had multiple children, 3 siblings, needed a place real quick. They came with us for 3 weeks and then went to Evans home, and Winchester's where they ultimately went. But so it was just kind of a very natural in our house to have people there. We had 3 different exchange students at different times. We had emergency foster care, so we had lots of people like that in our home.
He's fairly normal.
I was going to say, we don't know. It sounds like it went well for them. So this is the thing that people do and they do successfully. So now that I've put you all on the spot, does anyone have any questions for me? What more can I tell you about foster care? Yes.
I'm curious about sort of the chain, your relationship with social services. How does that all work?
So we accept referrals from social services, and there are a variety of reasons why social services would have a child in the system that they would then say, we don't want to place them in one of our homes. We want to place them in one of your homes. It could be that they know that our social worker will be a really good fit for a particular child, and so it makes sense to make a referral. Or that one of our homes and families will be really great for a particular child, so they'll make that referral. We also specialize in what's called treatment foster care, which is children with medical issues like asthma or type 1 diabetes, Sibling sets wind up in treatment foster care because we keep children together now in Virginia, and that's kind of more work. And so it's considered a special case, and so they get referred to us. And for taking on training the foster families, placing the children, and doing their case management, we're compensated by the state of Virginia. So we're basically a contractor.
So are you a vendor in the U.S. system, or are you freestanding, are you not-for-profit? You know, how does that all work?
We are technically a for-profit company because we are under the umbrella of a larger human services organization here in the Valley that provides crisis counseling and in-home therapy. We also have a nonprofit arm that we can use for charity donations and things of that nature. Okay. Well, thank you all so much for having me once again.